let's talk about restoration. That's actually a great segue. So I wanted to pick out an event that kind of signified the restoring, resurrecting power of Christ. Not just him resurrected, but the power that he has to bring people back to life again. And what better event than the Great Awakening? Okay. So during the 1600s, there was an era called the Enlightenment or the Age of Reason. And this was basically a movement to say, okay, we're going to get away from the metaphysical. We're going for the five senses. We're going for reason. We're going for scientific study.
Yeah.
We're going to put all of our weight on that. We're going to do away with the old myths, the old theories, the old deeper truths. And I don't mean that offensively to those who are more in the reason camp, but it really was saying, okay, we're going to do away with all that old stuff and we're going to just do with reason, right? And so this moved across Europe and really started influencing a lot of different things. And of course, it moved its way into America. So it colored how people perceive the world. Okay, it did a lot of good things. It furthered the idea of liberty. It put a lot more focus in, okay, the scientific rigors and study and evidence and exploring the world. It had some good things. It also centered on pursuit of happiness, sovereignty, the senses, that kind of thing. But what it did was it dulled the spiritual senses, especially in America. And so it started to create a division and started to create this wedge in America where people all of a sudden were saying, okay, well, maybe the Enlightenment and those philosophers and those scientists, maybe they're onto something. And the spiritual foundations of America started to get dulled and weighed down. So there was a refocusing of priorities in America. So then enter the Great Awakening. And this is something that I love that the Lord does, is when something decays or eats out or dies, the Lord brings up a new shoot.
That's right.
And that's kind of been my argument about the idea of the Reformation. And then people ask, well, why are there denominations? And what I've seen in my research is a lot of times what happens is a denomination, or let's go to the Reformation. So the Reformation was originally just to heal some things that were in the church, the Catholic Church. Luther wasn't meaning to make a split. He was just posting up, hey, let's change these things that I think the church has gotten off about. Well, the Catholic Church said, we're not going to listen to you. You're being a heretic by even coming against us with these complaints.
I know, yeah.
Right? So what the Catholic Church basically said was, we're not willing to be corrected. And so Luther started this movement of separation, saying, okay, if you're not going to be willing to correct, we're going to resurrect following the Lord. And when you see a denomination split off, a lot of times what you see is you see a decay eating out of the denomination and a new sprout starts up. And so what you find is a lot of times God will resurrect new birth out of something that's dying. And the Great Awakening is a perfect example of that. So, and interject whenever you want.
No, go for it. Just keep going. There's a lot in this, though.
Between about 1720 to 1740, you had the Great Awakening, which came through the colonies. Okay, this marked the emergence of evangelicalism. That's where evangelicals really kind of started their weight of Christianity. So you had guys such as George Whitefield, Gilbert Tennant, James Davenport, Jonathan Edwards, John and Charles Wesley, who were in England. They encouraged people to separate from the Enlightenment and start to commit to God. So in the 20s and 30s, you had an evangelical party that took shape in the Presbyterian churches led by William Tennant.